Looks like the numbers game thing's gone live here, lads.
That's the way XG files should start. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you know what?
Brand. It's on brand.
Hi everybody that's in the comments. I see you all saying why is Steve late. Steve's not late. Steve's been sitting here for 36 minutes. We're gonna have to get the bat because it's just not.
No, we're not
enough.
getting the bat. We're not getting the bat. We aren't getting the bat because we don't want to start with any animosity when we've.
Are we gonna switch it to Ronnie while he's talking?
We are gonna. Start.
We are getting a fucking bat.
No, we're not getting a bat.
God.
No, we're not getting a bat. You know what it is? No animosity. We need positive vibes only today because from tomorrow onwards, the possibility they might not be for a long time. So I need you to cheer up, mate.
Well, I'm not gonna cheer up just yet.
I need you to cheer up. United City FA Cup final. It's the first ever major final between the two Manchester clubs. A lot of people are shitting it.
Me being one of them.
Jay's actually quietly confident about it, which is weird because he says he's 90% of his friendship group City fans. So I can't believe the pressure bearing on him if we end up losing. But I'm somewhere in the middle. I think the fact that I'm nervous means that I'm expecting United to put in a better performance than a lot of people anticipate.
Between the first game and the second game that we've had with City this season, Ten Hag learned, and I think that's one of the best things about him, that he is adaptable, and when there's been opportunity for learning, he's done it. Some of that, I believe, has been hampered by the schedule and the playing every 3 days and the wear down of some of the players. But we've had a couple of weeks now where we've only had like one game a week. And we've had a good preparation time. He's known this is coming. I felt something in his speech last week. I know that there's zero doubt in my mind he's taking this ultra seriously. So I think we're gonna give it our best shot. I think that's the angle. But I want to talk to you about something, actually. So we brought on a guest of us today, and they are sponsoring today's video, but it's actually very interesting. Aside from that, I think it'd be really interesting to talk about. So you've heard of ChatGPT?
Yes, of course I have.
Yeah.
Who hasn't?
We've been doing some seriously messing around with it, and it's taken everything by storm, I think, at the moment. And it started to land in football, and it was always going to, wasn't it?
Yes.
I did see something dodgy, mind you, about AI, Skynet, Google, all that sort of stuff. Apparently, there was a drone pilot, and they did this test with AI, and AI decided to kill its human pilot. Terrifying. So, Skynet stuff, Terminator 2, I've seen how that film goes.
Right.
But anyway, on the football side of stuff, there's something that is good that is happening. And there's some guys from the numbers game, and we've got one with us today. He's called Sam, and we're going to talk to Sam. The numbers game is going to help you make better bets by giving you the AI predictions, and it'll give you all the data that you need for football games across the world. Now, it's got a prediction success rate of 50 to 75%, which is probably better than you make down the pub. And it's probably better than most tipsters, I would say. Depends on the league and that. But they offer very, very accurate AI-powered football predictions that are able to be available to the public. You can win more bets through in-depth football analysis. You've got odds comparisons, you've got daily tips. And it's been founded by a couple of United fans, a couple of season ticket holders. It's actually a very, very easy to understand format. And before placing a bet or creating your fantasy Premier League team, or even just watching an unfamiliar league, there's 80,000 football fans that are already benefiting from it. So if you head over to the numbersgame.uk, use the code Howson25, you're going to get 25% off and invest in a month's worth of bets for less than the price of a London pint. Now we've got Sam with us. Thanks for joining us, mate. So as far as I can gather, AI reckons City have got a 44% chance of winning this weekend's game.
Yeah, so we've calculated this through machine learning. That's how the algorithm works. So it takes things into account that me or you wouldn't understand. That's why it beats your mate down the pub at predicting things. I said to you yesterday, you know, this is a neutral venue. Maybe this referee likes dishing out cards at a neutral venue. Maybe he prefers giving fouls in front of a big crowd. You know, things like that me or you just wouldn't recognise in
like
patterns.
tendencies.
Yeah, exactly. Little bits and little details that me or you wouldn't recognise, but could affect the outcome of a game. Maybe Casemiro gets sent off, touch wood, he doesn't. But, you know, if I'm the AI pilot of this as well, then, well, this might be the last time you see me alive. But, but tomorrow's game, we've given United a 27% chance. That should be odds of about 3-1, 2.7 to 1. But at the bookies, for example, you can get them at 6 to 1. So we highlight bits like that as well to say, these are actually good odds in United.
There's value here, potentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the stuff that we was having a look at yesterday, and it's obviously on the TV here behind Ronaldo, you can have a look. I think things like the amount of corners each team has per game, I think that could be useful when you're doing some sort of betting. The amount of goals per game or the amount of shots per game. We spoke about yesterday about the yellow cards.
Yeah.
So you can see, look, Casemiro, he gets a yellow card. This guy's going to get a yellow card. If you see a nice juicy odds of like 3 players to get booked and it's a couple of these lads, you might be in with a shout.
That's the thing, and if you're putting bets on football, you're daft not to have something like this at your fingertips, because they tend to try and trap you as well. They might have Casemiro to get booked, Bruno to get booked, and then throw in a random player, Julian Alvarez or something it's not going to happen, and then put the odds up, and then you're enticed into a bet. So you go on numbers game, for example, you see that he's averaging 0.3 fouls a game, or he's only been booked twice this season, and then you know whether to avoid it or maybe back up your own thoughts with data, basically.
Is this the sort of thing that bookies are doing on the other side?
Do you know what they do? Similar predictions they've started offering on their websites, and they're good at it. There's no getting away from that. When they're lengthening their odds, I am always wary. Even though you're getting better value, they're often lengthening them for a reason. They're enticing people into bet, and they do similar things in terms of predictions. The thing that we want to do is build a really easy way for your mate down the pub to access this data. Yeah, you can get it through FBref, you can get data through Y-Scout, all of these websites which we're not competing with. We just want to offer the data in a digestible format. You're not going to browse those when you sat with your mates in the pub, or just before you put a bet on at the game if you get signal at Old Trafford.
When gambling gets so technical.
Yeah.
Since AI. The bookies are doing it on one hand. I think it's helpful to have a tool. Now, we spoke about sometimes you get, because of the risk that's associated with betting, bookies always try and balance out their odds, don't they? So if someone lumps it, so let's say people have gone City going to destroy United. You might tomorrow morning wake up and start seeing odds of United around about 10 to 1 just to win the game tomorrow. And at that point, United now become a value bet, right?
Exactly that, yeah. Quite often, so they'll shorten the odds on the team that they fancy to win, obviously, but also it affects it if a lot of people are betting on it, like you say.
Yeah, so like you kind of swing the odds, so if everyone's lumping on the fact that City are going to win, then obviously they'll rate.
They want to protect their own profits, don't they? So they want to go, whoa, we can't pay out that much. So they start shortening the odds, which, a game like tomorrow, it could go either way. But, when you've got games, I gave you the example yesterday, one of the World Cup games, Croatia played Scotland. Loads of Scots probably started betting on Scotland to win, which means that the odds on Croatia lengthen, but Croatia aren't losing that game. Yeah, you're getting better odds than you should be, and we highlight that as well.
I think that's really cool. I think that's where you find the value. So let's say United are believing about 6 to 1 for tomorrow. If somewhere, because of everyone just lumping in on City and going, I'm not even touching United tomorrow, United do end up at 10 or 11 to 1, then there's value anywhere above like 8 to 1, because you're like, well, United are incorrectly priced here. Yeah. It's worth me having, it's obviously, of course, it's a gamble, but it's still obviously worth the gamble, because you're like, we're getting better than we should get here.
That's it. Anything above 3 to 1, and they're already above that at 6 to 1 now. But you say betting's getting a lot more technical, but it's kind of like if you're boxing with a blindfold on or something. When you're going to place bets and give your money, why would you not want to work out if it's actually, if it makes sense or not?
So there probably is already people that are very technical with it anyway, with their betting.
Oh, definitely.
They definitely have their little
spreadsheets out. They do, mate. I've seen them. Yeah, so we're just making that easy so that you can do it when you're out and about, and you're not just having to sit at home or in your mum's basement with a little spreadsheet going on.
Yeah, I think there's got to be a balance. I don't think you can just be pure spreadsheet, because that doesn't take into effect emotion, doesn't take into effect form. It probably does actually to a certain degree. Doesn't take into account like a promising youngster that hasn't really featured before because it hasn't got the data on them to be able to factor it in. It can't take into effect any of those sorts of things, and probably doesn't have a way to factor in subsequent games. Like, how do you factor in the emotion of a 50-50 tackle tomorrow when there's a Champions League final spot at play for a City player tomorrow? So, like, how do you sort of factor that starter in? So I don't think you can go entirely trust AI alone. I think this is where you would expect people as punters to be able to go, I've got some knowledge of the game, I've got some experience of the game, and I'm going to use something like this to help me. Because I don't think you can go pure on instinct and just be like, listen, United are winning that game tomorrow. Because let's be honest, we're not. Right?
Nah, I'm not having that. Do you know what I mean? Never
But yeah, I
know.
don't think you can go purely on
There's odds as a way.
instinct. There's a way to go purely on instinct, and there's a way to go down AI, and I think the balance lies somewhere in the middle.
That's it. We're just trying to help people reach that, because we're not asking people to put 100% trust in it either, because that, like you say, is also insane to just go, oh, this random website I've just found today, you know, I'm going to put my entire trust in this for tomorrow's bets.
Yeah.
But it's about just having that awareness and giving things a second thought, you know. Don't just jump into the fact that someone's getting booked or someone to score first when they're not even having a shot on target on average per game, that sort of thing.
You're not just using this for people that are just looking for hackers and things like that, but you're doing it for fantasy league stuff as well.
Yeah, so we're trying to sort of open more data points to targeted to FPL and things as well, because at the moment it's used mostly for betting, but we do get a lot of people using it for FPL, even just to get a good idea of what's going to unfold in a game before it happens. It makes things like more interesting. You know, if you're watching a random game over the next couple of months in the J League or something, it's nicer to know what you're looking at rather than just going in completely blind. You know, who am I looking out for? Who are the good players to look out for? It's nice to, even United targets, you know, if you're watching a Atalanta game or something now, you might look at Hojlund and have a look at his stats on the website beforehand, and you know, maybe he's high on shots, maybe he likes to get stuck in and commits a lot of fouls, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so there you go check it out. That is thenumbersgame.uk, and you get 25% off with the code Howson if you're interested. Like I said, it's not just for gambling, it can be for doing a little bit of your own scouting, a little bit of your own interest, and I reckon there's probably going to be a right lot of people using that for fantasy stuff. But Sam, thanks for joining us.
Cheers,
Thank you,
guys. Thanks a lot.
So Hojlund then.
Hojlund, did you know what?
What a segue.
What a segue.
That wasn't planned.
That was
but
completely planned.
He's absolutely
Hojlund,
nailed it for us.
he has literally nailed it. I heard people call him Adam Warlock as well, which is quite funny. You wouldn't know. You don't have a clue, mate. Never watched a Marvel film in your life.
Should I know who that is?
Yeah. No, you shouldn't. Maybe you should, actually. Do you even watch movies? Apart from Saving Private Ryan?
I don't really watch Saving Private Ryan.
No, but anyway, as for Hojlund, what we are talking about, it looks like, are United actually trying to do transfer deals very quickly? Are they trying to be a bit proactive, or is it a situation where the transfer window opens and United is the first name that every single news outlet links a player that's on the market to?
Yep. As much as I would like to think things have changed, until you see the evidence of that, they've not. What's happened is United are the big fish and the big story every single time. So, yeah, there's a reason United are being linked to stuff. Now, it does genuinely feel like there might be something in this. There might be something in Hojlund. There might be something in Mason Mount. Certainly seems like there was some cooking this week.
Mason Mount looks like it's first to go, innit?
Could be. I think the Harry Kane one, I think everyone's just gone 1 + 1 is 2, mate. But they don't mean anyone's adding that up.
Yeah, but you've heard, you know what Daniel Levy's like. Is he probably the hardest owner to negotiate with in world football?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone worse.
Yeah. And close reports to him are saying that he's literally adamant that he won't sell him. And I think he won't get him if it's not for a crazy fee, which is crazy because if Daniel Levy is so money orientated, will he not rather get him sold for a fee than letting him go for free next year? Well,
here's the thing, right? So I'd tell all our audience to work this one out, because I can make a case that United shouldn't spend 100 million on him this summer.
Yeah.
Because what I would say to you is, look, Harry Kane's options for a club are limited. There ain't 27 clubs that'll take Harry Kane or be able to offer him what he wants. There'll be certainly plenty that would take him, whether or not they can offer him what he wants. So there might be 3 or 4 in the world that he would seriously consider joining, and I wonder if Real Madrid could be one of them.
Real Madrid could be a possibility, but
if they're losing Benzema.
Yeah, but it depends how much money they've got in terms of how much are they spending on Jude Bellingham? Over 100 million?
They seem to just do whatever they want.
I don't think they do. I think as a football club, them being the biggest football club in the world, probably, I think their rev probably decent. There'll probably be a little bit of sort of corruption underneath it, as every big club does. And I reckon their affordability is high in terms of the fact that they could probably stretch it a little bit in terms of they could probably spend 250 million if they wanted. But it depends on their sales as well.
So I don't
But
think
I'm
it's
not
100 million either way. But let's say it's 100 million, right? And there's literally a handful of clubs that you can go to. United, as much as everyone, including myself, goes, we need a striker this summer. What I'm asking you to do is justify spending £10 million a month on a player right now, on top of his wage, because that's what you're doing. You can get that guy for free next year. Decent signing on bonus, maybe 10, 20 million, but 10 million a month. Who's worth that?
What's happened to leverage though? Because it's the same with the Mount. Mount's contract ends next season. Kane's contract ends next season. How could United be held to ransom with a transfer fee on a player that will go for free next year? How that can't happen?
Shouldn't.
So when you're in 80 million for Mount and you're in 100 million for Harry Kane,
I hope that's the opening. I hope that's the opening position.
Obviously, you're going to sell high, but
I hope that's what Tottenham and Chelsea are doing, where they're just going, here's our opening position, let's talk. And then you go in, so you be Daniel Levy. Hello, Mr. Levy. Can I have Harry Kane?
No.
Everyone's got a price, Mr. Levy. How much?
110 million.
Fuck you, 2
million?
Yeah. Now we're negotiating, aren't we?
Let's negotiate then. All right, I think we're quite far off of the 210 million, to be honest.
Okay, 2.5.
So let's go middle ground.
Okay, 2.5.
109 mil.
2.5.
Can you add 100 million on that?
No.
102 million?
No.
What about 90?
The guy's walking out the door for free. You're going to pay off like a percentage of your stadium here with this transfer fee that I'm prepared to give you of £3 million.
Actually, if I'm Daniel Levy and you say 2 million, I'll probably just walk out. I don't think negotiation would continue, to be honest.
I think it's all done on the phone anyway. It might not have been done on the phone. How are transfer bids submitted anyway? I wonder if it's WhatsApp, because there's so much like legitimate business done via WhatsApp.
I think Ben was explaining to me how he thinks transfer fees are done. Obviously, it's paid incrementally over. It's not like, here's 100 million. That's not. It's not wired like that. It's like spread over. I think sometimes it's spread over the contract, or is it they kind of.
Well, it gets accounted for like that, but sometimes there'll be instalments. So like every June 1st, you get
paid in instalments. But that is interesting, though. Did it just literally? Do you just call the owner and just go 100 mil for Kane? What you saying? Is it?
Yeah.
It might literally just be that.
Yeah, listen, I want to talk about Harry Kane. All right, what are you thinking?
Right,
I'm thinking...
I'll get back to you.
I'm thinking 2 million. Let me go speak to the staff. And do you know what? Even though it's tapping up, we know it happens. So someone would have sounded out Harry Kane's agent, look, if a bid was to be successful, is there an interest in joining United? Just something like very wishy-washy like that, rather than like, hey, would you like to join United? Because that's technically an illegal approach. But if he was like, listen, is there an interest in joining United? And Harry Kane might give you the eyes and go, yeah, do you know what? We'd be open to that conversation if the bid was met. So then you go speak to Daniel Levy and you go, listen, Levy, we've spoken to Harry, he's keen on coming. And he's not going to kick off about that. I think it's just the way business is done.
If Kane's got anything about him, though, we're talking about leverage here, which these clubs don't have when one of their star players can go to the following season for free. That could be even increased even more if Harry Kane comes out and publicly says, I want to leave.
Get me out of here, man.
But then again, didn't he do that on the overlap when he wanted to go to City?
Sort of. It was
more
more about he had a bit of a sulk, didn't he? Did he move him out of training to the reserves maybe, or did he stay on holiday a bit longer than he was supposed to? Maybe there was some fuckery about, wasn't there?
Yeah. So like, if Kane comes out now and says, I want to leave, I don't want to play for Tottenham.
You've got to keep it incremental though, haven't you? Can't. There has to be.
My mates that professionals say that, who have been on RP and know about. They said as a player you can't just go out and say I don't want to play. Like,
Harry Kane might be able to though.
I think it depends on the player that you are, but I think for 99% of players in football you can't do that.
No, they go, is that a fact? Yeah, right, cool. Meet the under-21s manager. Or you're now calling him gaffer.
Meet the under-18s. Yeah. You're playing there for the rest of your contract. Then what you do? You can't do anything.
Nope.
So
people talk about player power, but that's focused in literally the 1% of players that do actually have power. Because most players don't. So you've got to keep it incremental. So if you're a Harry Kane, you don't come in there 1st of June and go, fucking let me go, you bald prick, like straight off the bat. You got to save that for like a month down the line. You got to save that for when August is right round the corner and you ain't done pre-season yet. You got to wait. Like Rio chased Peter Risdale around his office, didn't he?
Rio
to get moved to United.
No, but I thought, all right. So Levy's probably spoke to Kane already a few times this summer, since the season's ended. What are you looking at there?
I'm looking at what that weird thing is across the side of my head.
What the green light? Oh, it's a new trim.
Interesting.
Do you know what I mean? New trim.
So go on.
All right, so I'm thinking Kane now will go. He's probably had a few conversations with Levy and said, ideally I want to leave now. I think I've paid my dues. I've basically done myself a disservice for my whole career. I've played for Tottenham, where I knew I wasn't gonna ever win anything. He might not have said it like that, but really, he means that when he said.
They're going to have had conversations throughout the years where he's gone, are you going to sign some players that can actually win something?
Yeah,
and he's going to have said yes.
Yeah.
So he might have gone, I've been loyal to you for how long? You keep telling me, no, I can't go. We're going to win something here. We ain't done shit. It's over, man.
Harry Kane owes Tottenham nothing else. I know people are going to point to the fact that he's underperformed in every final or any big game that he's played in Tottenham.
I was laughing at you.
Yeah, but that's actually true as well. So I think they can hold that against him. He's underperformed in every big game that they've had in terms of finals or winning stuff. But other than that, he's basically done everything and anything he can for Tottenham. And at the age of 30 now, I think he's at the back end of his prime. I think the type of player he is, I think he has a couple of years left.
Yeah. He's not going to be done by 31, I don't think.
Yeah. He needs to go. Obviously, you've heard Bayern, you've heard Madrid.
Sorry. Theo there. These guys just want United being England national team. Wrong two guys.
No. That ain't the case. We're two people that have basically said, we always say no to Mount, no to Rice. Is it one of them where anytime we hear an English player, we're kind of like, oh, boring. But I don't necessarily want it to be England national team. I want United to be a good team. And if that includes bringing in a player that is English and good, then fair, and then so be it.
Joe was really interesting. I had a conversation with Evra, and Evra was going so strong, way stronger than I thought he needed to go, and totally took me by surprise. But he was saying that Manchester United needs an English core and should have an English core. And I remember he had a bit of paper. I wish I'd have been able to keep all that piece of paper, but he took it with him. And he had, I think he wrote the word United on it, and he kept squaring it. And jabbing his pen at it and talking about it. It's like, look at the teams I played in. And it was Rio and Carrick and Rooney. He was English players right through the centre of that team. And I'm almost kind of... I was like, but what's that got? Literally, I was arguing with him, saying, what fucking relevance is that?
There is an English quota, though, for Premier League teams.
Not English, not homegrown. Yeah, so Paul Pogba was homegrown. It doesn't matter if you're English, it's homegrown. Garnacho might come as homegrown.
I think the rules are even stronger than that in a lot of the leagues in Europe.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Where they get even stronger.
But everyone was sort of making the case you need this English core because they get it, and I was kind of like, hang on, you got it.
Yeah. Nah, I get it. It's weird. Do you think that rule makes sense? The whole obviously I'll get you with the English core, etc.
I think there should be probably a more stringent homegrown quota, because I think that'd be better for the game in this country.
Because even in Turkey, our mates play in the Turkish third division. You can't play in it unless you're Turkish.
That's mad.
Yeah, in the second division,
should have at least a few options.
In the second division, each team's only allowed 4 or 5 international players that aren't Turkish, and then Superliga they quote lessons, but. It's still I think a lot of... I think
it should be a balance.
Yeah.
And I don't really give a fuck about what the passport is. I'd prefer it if it was a homegrown quota. I actually think that the passport quota is illegal.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't matter with the UK anymore because we're not in Europe, but I think it was against EU regulations to have a passport quota, you have to be English or you have to be Scottish or you have to be... So that's where the homegrown thing comes in, because there's a very high percentage chance that you will be of the nationality of your league. But not necessarily, because United have had, like I said, Garnacho, Paul Pogba, PK, Rossi. These guys all would have come under being technically foreign nationals but also homegrown. I don't think it matters. The connection's still there from the fans, whether they're English or Argentinian. If he's homegrown, he's homegrown.
I fully agree with you. But one thing I did want to ask you in terms of transfers, and this includes outs as well. We're going into the transfer window just started yesterday. I think it's going to be a long one for United and United fans. Obviously, with the owner issues, it always is. But if you're looking at it, would you see it as the perfect window? and I mean like 3-4 players in, 3-4 players out. What would you see as the perfect window for United?
You can make a case for about 8 to go.
That's probably more.
Probably not realistic for so many to go. If you're going to include the likes of Phil Jones and Axel in that, people that we haven't really seen, then 8's not mental. But like Baye, Tellez, they're still all United
Alanga.
players, man. Yeah, Alanga, I think they'll all probably move on. And that puts us up to like 5, like that, doesn't it? So. And
then the 2 major outgoings people are told.
I think
McTominay.
Henderson. I think Maguire. I saw him linked with Chelsea earlier.
As a people, it was a Sun though. It was a report on the Sun, I think.
Right. Okay. So let's just.
Yeah. That's every time I look at a report and I see that, I'm like, oh fuck's sake. Kind of just disregard it. But
I haven't seen anything concrete on McTominay yet. I think people are just Harry Kane situation. People are going 1 + 1. There's 2. I think McTominay. People are going. I probably get something from him, so he's going.
It's mad because I thought McTominay was nailed on to go to Newcastle because they played they had Longstaff play, and I always thought. McTominay is like a better version of Longstaff, and then this season happened and Longstaff looked better than McTominay. So they're probably looking at like Longstaff's a player that United wanted to bid 50 million for. By the way,
I think that's what they wanted for him. And
listen,
we went.
do you know what I mean?
Is there an extra 0 there? Are you mad?
No, it's interesting, but I don't know whether because Newcastle actually look like they're quite clever in the window. They might go for Maddison instead. Relegated, they've been chasing him a while. They can get him cheaper. Maddison, McTominay. Do you know what I mean? So.
It'd probably be a similar price.
Probably for a similar price, maybe even less. So, if you're looking at outs, Maguire's a definite.
He is a definite, innit?
He's a definite, but...
Is any of you lot actually think that Maguire might still be a United player come the end of the window? He might still be here, throughout pre-season, but...
It's just the issue of, we say this every time. What are we going to get in terms of a fee? We paid 80 million for him.
Not that.
And... Everyone has varying predictions of the amount of money that we are going to get for Harry Maguire.
You can't take 25 mil.
Because
it's going to have to be 30 plus.
Is it because United being the level of club that we are, when we're buying players, clubs are always going to sell high because it's a trajectory that way. When you leave United, unless you're going to Real Madrid, Barca,
here's
City,
one that
it's a downgrade.
I saw Fred and £70 million linked. And you go, no way. And then you go, hang on, let me think about it. We bought him for 50, 55. If it's Fulham and they want him, now I don't know if Fulham have got that sort of cash.
They have. I think a lot of Premier League clubs have that cash.
But they're taking a player that's not necessarily on the transfer list. That's a player that's not necessarily one that United are actively trying to move on. And that's where the big fees come in. You're like... If someone comes in for us for Maguire, we're not going to go 100 million. We're going to go, what can we get 40?
Oh yeah, because the whole leverage of the fact that everyone knows that United don't want to get rid of him.
Yeah.
It's like trade values in American sport. Like when the team knows that you want to get rid of a player, then the trade value.
Yeah, they're going to offer you a Twix and half of this crunchy
you want to get off him.
Eating.
Do you know what I mean?
So someone like Fred could be like an absolute bolt out of the blue where we go, oh my God, how have we done that? Because look at Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko last year. City raised £100 million selling 2 players that don't start for him. Because they weren't obvious sales. They would have been like, yeah, we'll keep him.
It's mad though, because they did that. They sold him to Arsenal because they were cheeky, really. They didn't think Arsenal were a threat to him. Then it almost backfired, but then in the end, it turns out that it was right because Zinchenko's form fell off at the end of the season. Jesus is a defensive striker. So it's
2 players that have never done a full season.
Injury prone. I think Arteta would have known though if he was at City when they were there, surely. But anyway, it is 25, 30 million Maguire. McTominay is someone that we're actively trying to sell, so we can't really negotiate high. But as I was saying, I think when you leave United, 9 times out of 10, all you can do is go down. So then the fee's not going to be high. I think the resale value for players going to United...
That's where Fred could be a weird one, because he's not necessarily being kicked out the door because he's not wanted.
Yeah.
There's a team that actually wants him because they see him completing something that they're trying to do, which is mad. But I could see him being a really good player for them. And a really good... But if I'm Fulham, I'm thinking 70 million. Because when Fulham ring up, it's a different price than when United ring up. Fulham could easily go and get 2 or 3 £20 million players. That probably end up being better than Fred. Mad if they spend 70 million on Fred.
Nah, it's true.
I'd be buzzing though.
I reckon it'd be buzzing. I don't see it happen because
that's Casemiro money.
It is other than Cristiano Ronaldo. It is other than Cristiano Ronaldo. Who do we actually take for cheap and sell for more than we got?
People are going to say
Dan
James.
James. I know people are going to say Daniel James.
No.
And it was Fulham.
What?
So it was Fulham for Daniel James as well, isn't it?
No, Leeds.
Was it Leeds? Why do I think Daniel James was at Fulham now?
No idea.
Lost track of mine.
Andres Pereira is.
Andres Pereira, okay. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they got. I can't say what I was about to say. It sound wrong.
Wow.
I feel like you know what I was going to say then.
Wow. Lucky Singh in the comments says, not playing at all next season, McTominay, Marshall, Maguire, and Telles. Yep. Dough there to be made. And big dough as well.
That is big though.
United Red says, what, 70 million on Fred? Yeah, listen, that's what I saw. I'm not necessarily saying I agree. I'm not necessarily saying that that's happening. I just saw it. But the same thing, like, Mount is a similar sort of price. Madness.
Yeah, he was loaned to Fulham. And he wasn't seeing things. Because I remember he came on for Fulham and assisted a goal for them against us, I'm pretty sure. I thought my mind weren't playing tricks on me. But I don't know how Leeds done that. How did Leeds take 30 million for Daniel James? Bought him for like 15?
No, I think we sold him to them for about 15.
No.
We bought him for like 7, didn't we?
We didn't sell Daniel James for 15 million. It was 30, I swear.
No.
I'm pretty sure, because everyone's talking about how did we do that? How did we get that out?
Well, we made money on him, but I don't know what. Let me just check.
Pretty sure. Someone let us know in the comments.
United Red says, this paper talk is rubbish, lads. Not getting at you. This is going back to what we said at the start. This is all that happens is you get the paper talk because United had a big talk. And some of it, like we said, that the Harry Kane links, for me, might end up being real. Don't feel real right now. Doesn't feel like there's anything in it right now. They might just be back and forward. With Daniel Levy, he's probably just like, look, I'm playing squash. Until I hear a figure that I like, you can do one. And he ain't heard a figure that he likes anywhere near yet. Many news outlets were reporting the fee to be 25 million.
Yeah. 25 million.
Wow.
I think the add-ons take it up to 30.
Wow.
For a guy that came to United.
He just got relegated. Don't reckon them add-ons are going to happen.
Yeah, probably not going to happen. So he probably won't get those.
Where does Maguire go? I don't know why West Ham seems such an obvious spot for him, but West Ham's...
Wrexham?
I know they're doing a madness, but...
Listen, if Wrexham... I feel like he'd do bits down there. Do you know what I mean? Maguire in League 2. You look like Maldini.
Wouldn't be the best centre-half.
Do you know what I mean? Nah, he probably would.
No, he wouldn't.
I reckon just about. Maybe not. But I don't know, like...
There's different skill sets, isn't there, right? Defending his box, he's going to be great. But he's still going to get pressed. He's still going to be asked to make a decision quick.
I've seen Arsenal tacticals on Twitter advocating for Arsenal to go and try sign Maguire. Because what a lot of these rival clubs are thinking, or their fans, is that it's United that ruin players. So everyone's going... Maguire was good. Maguire was good for Leicester. He's decent for England.
No, he's good in that state. Leicester and England. No, it's not the same system, but it's a similar system. United and Arsenal is actually a similar system. Like, he would be as bad at Arsenal as he is at United.
I think I almost think Arsenal's a worse fit for him. Because with Saliba and Gabriel, they leave him exposed all the time. That's the way that it's going with
Saliba's quick.
Yes, and they're both quick. There's no chance. But you see what happens when Rob Holding starts for him.
Yeah,
he gets destroyed, and he's probably like a centre half that'll look all right in a lower level team. Do you know what I mean?
I can't find a comment there. Jason says Luton Town wouldn't be a bad move for him.
Luton Town, Jesus.
It's mad that Luton are going to be
Luton
in the Premier
Town.
League. I remember watching.
Are you sure Maguire's head?
I think it was a league Division 1 game in like 1991, 92, I think. I'm pretty sure I remember. I'm almost certain I remember watching Luton play United at home.
I'm not sure Maguire's head can fit in the stadium.
Wow.
From what I've seen.
10k capacity in it.
10k capacity. Henry Winter came on the channel. He spoke to us about. He went just.
Don't pick that name up.
We interviewed him a day after he was at a Luton game.
Right.
And he came and he said, if Luton make the Premier League, wow, it's going to be mad, because he went to the stadium and he said it's non-league level at best, their stadium. So it's going to be an adjustment for a lot of people that go away there. Like it's literally, they've had a bit of an ascension. It was going to be administration recently.
Wasn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
15 years ago they was in the National League. And
is it been like a Bournemouth? It's been like Bournemouth, like, because in Bournemouth have like 3 back-to-back, 4 promotions?
I don't think they did it back-to-back. They spent a couple of years in each.
Okay.
But yeah, man.
Nah, but Luton...
People saying it's Serie A for Maguire.
Are you able to get a decent fee out of Italian teams, though, for Maguire? Do you reckon?
Mad if we upgrade Maguire for Kim Min-jae.
That'd be class.
You upgrade Fred for Mount as your 4th midfielder. And you bring in Harry Kane.
Mount as your 4th midfielder?
Nobody who we've had up front.
Mount as your 4th midfielder? Mm-hmm. Who's the 3 above him?
Eriksen, Bruno, Casemiro.
That's fair. It's just that when I think midfielder, I don't usually think Bruno. I think Bruno's like a 10. I'm on about like, but...
Oh my God. Danny Sabbath there, he goes, Maguire to AC Milan, right? That should be so mental that you laugh at it. But that just shows how far Serie A has fallen, where people are sitting there going, yeah, Harry Maguire for AC Milan. This is the place that had Franco fucking Baresi, mate. Marcel Desailly.
Nah, I can't. AC Milan's fallen, because if they're signing Harry Maguire, back when they were decent, there's no chance they're looking at Maguire. Because AC Milan would have had...
Somewhere, Maldini's sobbing.
Because back in the day, AC Milan would have had like reserve players probably better than Maguire. Especially defensively.
Oh my God.
Everyone sees Italy as the defensive nation of Europe, basically, when it comes to football. So I'm not too sure about that. But someone said Italian clubs only loan.
Nuts though.
So they are cheapskates.
Nuts though. I don't think they're cheapskates. Just can't compete with the Premier League. And it's mad this because Barcelona always complain about the how the Premier League is doing this. They literally earn $1 billion a year. Ain't no Premier League clubs anywhere near that. Even City with their cookbooks ain't getting nowhere near a $1 billion a year. Have you seen that as well? I just tweeted it before, right? So they've got bored of cooking their books and they've now started cooking up maps of Manchester. So how many genuine City fans do you know living here your entire life?
I think I know one. I went to high school with called Connor.
Yeah, I know a couple.
Yeah, I know like one.
I know a couple.
Two. Yeah.
In terms of Reds to Blues, in my experience, Manchester is 75% to 80% red with a smattering of blues.
It's true though, because that's why their attendance.
Go
is so
look at that map. Because, oh my God, it's basically saying that the entire Greater Manchester's blue. Basically,
that's what they argue though.
Fuck off.
I think what it is it's the sample. Like City fans, there aren't really any City fans outside of Manchester until probably about 5 years ago when you get the glory hunters kind of came in, like the youngsters. Because when Sports City is right, like either side of the Etihad, and I've go there to watch my sister run sometimes. So I walk past their superstore, and 95% of the people around that area, that fan area, go into the superstores. I don't think I saw one City fan there above the age of 16, and that resonated with me, and I was like, yeah, that sums it up. Every youngster now will just glory hunt to be a City fan. And I didn't see anyone above the age of 16.
I think there's some cultural things as well. I know there's United fans that wear shirts, but generally, I think there's a general consensus among like match-going United fans is that you don't really see us wearing shirts. There's obviously the ownership issue. I've had it mad where people are buying green and gold scarves and then they're wearing it with a Megastore shirt, or they've got a bag from the Megastore. That's bananas, that is. I'm not saying go boycott everything related to the club, but there is definitely an element of boycott in our fan base.
Yeah.
And there's also an element of that people think they're too fucking cool for school in United fan base. We don't wear colours. And I don't make the rules, but them's the rules. Do you know what I mean? Them's are the rules. United fans don't generally wear colours. How do you know where the United fans are? They're all wearing black. Like,
Yeah.
They're not wearing the shirts. They're like, you can agree with me, you can disagree with me, but it doesn't change the fact that that's the reality of it. And yes, you'll still see people wearing shirts, and yes, you'll still see people doing that at home and away games. But the sort of hardcore, the people I grew up around, the people I go to the match with, nobody wears a shirt. Maybe the occasional retro one.
Yeah, no, it's true.
You just don't see it. Them's the rules. I'm not saying you're a dickhead if you do wear a shirt. I'm just saying it's not what I grew up with, and it's a bit of a cultural thing. Whereas City, for the most part, look like they've been fucking glued up and rolled around their megastore. Like,
it's forced, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Like, because you do see City shirts, but there's no fucking way.
None of them ever been to Main Road, probably.
They couldn't point to it on a map. Oh, I got loads. Derby County's old ground has got like a bit of a pale blue sort of thing going on. And I was arguing with this City fan, and I tweeted him and said, I bet you don't even know what this fucking ground is, do you? And he's like, of course I do, it's Main Road. Man,
yeah,
dickhead,
got
it's
him.
A baseball ground.
Got him.
1-0 up the Reds. So, if the way this survey has been conducted is by trying to count fucking shirts in a city centre, you won't see United fans. But if you stop them and say, who do you support, they'll tell you United.
No, exactly. It's just, I think they've got overcompensated for the fact that the whole fan base and the club is bantered to the fact that they lack of fandom. Empty seats, empty had. I wonder what it's going to be like tomorrow, though.
See,
I think
you will probably see more City shirts, and they love that one from '98 that they never fucking owned. The fucking Illuminous one. I remember some of my mates having that growing up. But you know what I mean? Like, you didn't wear it, mate. You're fucking 16 years of age. Shut your mouth. There'll be loads of City shirts there tomorrow, and there'll be loads of United shirts there tomorrow. It's going to be fucking gloriously hot. It'll be awesome weather, and it'll be a shit ride home. I'm sure of it.
Are you doing that thing where you're preparing yourself for disappointment?
Yeah, probably. Because if we win it, I'm going to go off my fucking box.
That's what, like...
But I'm just not expecting to win it.
This is what...
Do you know what? I play the Euro Millions every week, Ronnie.
I
don't expect to win it.
Now, if we win the FA Cup final tomorrow, this ranks extremely highly in achievements in probably the last 20 years for United, I reckon. It's one of those where... And I think the fact that we're such underdogs and all United fans are kind of slightly pessimistic about it makes me... I can't even comprehend the elation if we actually do win. Because it's almost like... I feel like there'll be a second where it's like, wait a minute, wait.
How much of it is us stopping City's treble, and how much of it is
there's
genuine
so much
elation?
that goes into play that if we win it, it's just like... You're basically buzzing because you've won Derby Day, you've won another trophy, you won the FA Cup for the first time in a while, and you've fucking stopped the City treble at the same time. Like,
Ten Hag's got 2 trophies and top 4. He's got a better Pep over the course of the season.
That's what I mean. Like, literally, United fan vlogs are literally going on Pornhub. That's it. That's literally guaranteed if we do win.
It'd be good times, but I'm not preparing myself for that. I'm certainly not preparing myself for that in the slightest. I think it's going to be. I think it'll be close, but I just think they've got too many tools.
Too many tools, yeah?
Too many tools to beat us, unfortunately. Yeah.
I think it's a one game, one chance.
Neil Shaw says, self-appointed biggest club in the world. No, we're not self-appointed, it's factual. United are the biggest club in the world. Are now plucky little underdogs. Look, mate, when you want to talk about plucky little underdogs, what an amazing achievement to be Manchester City to be where they are. They've spent $2 million that they've declared. $2 billion that they've declared. They've got a manager with offshore accounts, which who the fuck knows what's gone into those. They've got 115 charges against them from the Premier League. They had a ban which they've had to fucking appeal against with UEFA for all sorts of fuckery. Let's talk about that as an underdog story, eh? I'll get Drozdon to a Champions League final. You give me $2 billion in fucking 15 years. Any further questions? Right then, if you want to go check out the numbers game, check the link in the description. Go help them guys out. We might get Sam on again to talk about some stuff as we come into the new season. But from me, from Ronnie, from Sam and everybody at the numbers game, enjoy the game tomorrow. And obviously enjoy it more if we win. If it's 3-0 at half-time, I'll see you on the platform, Metropolitan line, just on the Wembley Parkway. See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.